Hello everybody, this is Joshua with Nanocode, and today I will be teaching you HTML and eventually how to build your own website with HTML and CSS and JavaScript. So, to get started, you will need a code editor. I'm on Mac, so I'm using Sublime Text. I really like this. There is a version of this for Mac, Windows, and Linux. It is $70, but the demo is infinite, so you can kind of get away with that. Some free ones on Mac are Text Wrangler, and Xcode will work also. On Windows, you can use Notepad++ and NetBeans. I highly recommend NetBeans. It is basically the Windows equivalent of Xcode. To get started, you want to open a document and then save it, because you want to, because right now the OS thinks that it is a .text file, which is not what you want. You want to think it's an HTML. So name it something. I normally name it index.html because that's what most web servers are configured to read first. So it will always look for the index.html. So call it that. To start off with, you always want to declare your doc type. So do so this like a less than or greater than sign, and all cap and exclamation mark all caps doc type space HTML, and close that. So this tells the web browser or whatever you're using that it is an HTML document. Then what you want to do is make another tag, and these are called tags that have the brackets, the HTML, and then the closing bracket. Then you want to put body, which basically declares the like where you'll put most of your code. So body, and then you want to close everything with slash and then the tag name, and again with slash and the tag name. So those are the basic tags that you will use: HTML, body, and HTML. Some others might be some other useful ones are H1, which stands for header, and H2, which stands for header. Close those. And basically what they do is, for H1, it makes your text bold and bigger. So think of it as a title to a book, so we can call it Hello World. And then the H2 is basically, I guess, like a description of that title. It's a bit smaller, but this is a web page. So save it. By default, your computer will, when you double click it, it will open as a web document. But if you want to open it through your code editor, right click and open with. On Mac and Windows it's a bit different, but you can also right click and open with. So as you can see, the H1 gives you a bold and really large font for Hello World, and then H2 gives you a bold but smaller font. And if we don't use any header tags and we just put in body, hello nanocode, I guess, save it and refresh the page, it is not bolded at all and the smallest text, as you can see. So if we go back to our text editor, we can do a couple of things. Some basic things you might want to do is, if you are writing a really long, I guess, post maybe, or page, and you just type things, and then you say you want to make another paragraph. So on Word you would hit enter, tab, and then start another line, but HTML doesn't do that. If we do that, we see that it's still all on the same line, even though in the code editor it doesn't look like that. So HTML, you have to do something different. You have to declare a new paragraph. So you want to do that with P, which stands for paragraph, and close that on the end of your new paragraph. And as you can see, now it forms another line. So that is one thing that's kind of hard to get used to. You can't, everything you see in the text editor does not translate to what you actually see on the web page. Another thing is making links, and this kind of demonstrates the importance of closing tags. So you want to do A, which is a hyperlink, href, which is how you declare the link, equals, and then the quotation marks, and then you want to put HTTP, So this tells HTML that it will be a hyperlink to a web page, because you can link to files. If you don't put HTTP, and we'll just say like we can say if we had another page, we can make a new one and enable it like 2.html, and it will link to that page. But if we want to link to a website, you want to do HTTP, say nanocode.co, which is the website. Then now the thing is, if you don't close this and you type this is a link, or link and nanocode, so if you want this as a link to be a link, you want to close it around here. Otherwise, if you don't, it will just assume that everything under it until the end of the HTML will be a link. So if we leave it like it is, which is a very bad thing to always close tags, it will say this is a link, and nanocode will be part of that link also. If we don't want that to happen, and we just want this as a link to be it, we have to put a plug on, I guess, the faucet of this, and we have to do the /a, which will stop this. So now when we refresh, we'll see this is a link is only a link, and nanocode is not a link. So when we click on that, that will go there. So that is something that shows the importance. Again, if we never close the H1, some weird things can happen. Like if we didn't close that and didn't name this H2, save that. Oop. Refresh it. See, everything will be H1, and yeah, it'll just be a mess. So always remember to close your tags, otherwise you could run into some problems. Another thing is images. You start there with img image and src source equals the quotation marks. If you want it to link to a web page, you want to do http// So I guess we'll look at we'll go cat pictures, and we'll use this. So if we view image, we'll take this URL, and this will display this picture at this specific URL. Save that, and go here and refresh. We'll see the picture is here. It's draggable. If you drag it to another tab, it will go exactly to this website, which is where we originally found the image. So you can do that, but say the image you have is not online, maybe you created it, or it's from a picture you took or something like that, you can. And also forgot to mention, for the image, you don't want to close, you don't need to close it because it's not spanning anything, it's just its own entity, so it's fine. Undo paragraph to make a new paragraph for this image, and then make this image. And now let's say you want it to be from your downloads folder, or somewhere that's on your computer. So we'll go back here, take this image, save image as, and it will ask where you want to save it. So you can save it to downloads. An easy way to find out what folder it's in is when I go to your folder, show it in Finder, and right click and get info, and this right here shows you where the folder is in, like the directory above it. So we can take that, and we know that it is in downloads, so we'll call it we'll put in downloads, and then we know what we named it, which is cat.jpg. Or I forgot to change the name, but we can change this to cat1.jpg, and we'll put cat1.jpg. Save that, close it, and close the p tag. Save that and refresh this page, and we will see this image is here. And now when we drag it here, it will show the file directory instead of the URL like before. So that is one way to insert images, and those are actually two ways to insert images into your HTML document. You can also make images links if you wanted to. So you want to do the same thing with href, and we'll link them to a nanocode, I guess. Do that, close it always, close it here, save it, and then here when we refresh, this will actually turn into a link. So now when we click it, it won't go to the image directory. It will actually go to the website that we wanted to send it to, which is very cool. And another tag that you can use is strong, which just makes stuff bold, but I just tend to use the H1 or H2, so that does that. I think that's enough for this lesson. I think you should go and play around with it and get acquainted with HTML and how tags work, experiment, try to make a basic web page, and in the next lesson we will go over some more styling tips, how to change the size of your image, because as you can see this is pretty large image, and how to work on some formatting and spice up your web page a bit. So this has been Joshua with NanoCode, and I'll see you guys next time.